Welcome to the new A-Level Media Studies syllabus, which begins teaching in September 2017 with the first A-Levels being awarded in August 2019. This introductory video aims to give you an overview of the course and will clearly set out what is required to complete the course. By the end of this video you will know the course structure, what you need to do for each component, i.e. unit, and what media text we will be studying. We're going to start by outlining the most popular area of media studies first, the practical work. The exam board has set out options you must pick from, but any option will involve you doing both film and still photography. It is also worth bearing in mind that, whilst you are allowed other people to be in your production, you must all do your own chosen option. Teams are no longer allowed in the practical work. So here is an overview of the coursework. Component 1 and 2 are exams which we'll be discussing in a minute, since we don't do those until the end of the year leading into year 13. Component 3, cross-media production. This is worth 30% of the qualification and is also worth 60 marks. The briefs will be released annually on 1st of March in the year prior to the assessment and will be published on the WJEC Educas website. The following media forms will always be set. Television. Create a cross-media production to include a sequence from a new television program and related print or online products. Advertising and marketing. Music. Create a cross-media production to include an original music video for a new or local unsigned artist or band and related print or online products. Advertising and marketing. Film. Create a cross-media production to include a print marketing campaign for a new film and related audio, visual or online products. Please note, however, the cross-media production must not include a completed short film, film sequence or trailer. Magazines. Create a cross-media production to include a new print magazine and related audio, visual or online products. In order to ensure that an undue amount of time is not spent on the production, all phases of the production, aims, research and planning, and the production itself should be completed over a period of no longer than 16 weeks. We will now look at the two exams you will be doing at the end of the second and final year of the course. We will begin by looking at Exam 1. Exam 1. Media Products, Industries and Audiences. This is a written examination and it is 2 hours 15 minutes long and is worth 35% of the qualification. Section A. Analysing Media Language and Representation. The first heading is Advertising and Marketing, and this will involve studying the Tide print advertisement for the 1950s, the WaterAid audio-visual ad from 2016, and Kiss of the Vampire film poster. You may have to look at also music video, Dream by Dizzy Rascal, and Riptide by Vance Joy. The newspapers you'll have to look at are the Daily Mirror of the November 10th 2016 issue, the front cover and article on the US election, and the Times November 10th 2016 issue, the front and back pages, both of which cover the US election. Question 1 will deal with representation. This will be based on one of the texts just mentioned and an unseen text. In other words, we study everything, but you won't have to write about everything. You will be given a random text that we've studied to analyse in the exam. Both the texts you are given will have a thematic link. Identify it and half the battle is already done for you. And what I mean by that is, maybe talking about poverty or something like that. Question 2. Media language. This will be based on 2 of the above under 1 of the other headings. Relevant resources may be provided for you to analyse. You will have to analyse how words, images, colours, etc. have been used to communicate meaning. Section B. Understanding media industries and audiences. Learners must study the following media forms and products set by WJEC. Some of these will be a repeat of Section A, but in this case you're not just looking at the text anymore, you're looking at the context, the industry, how it was made. So for advertising, there's the Tide print advertisement from the 1950s, the WaterAid ad, For film, this is a cross-media study, including film marketing, but not actually studying the films themselves. Straight Outta Compton, 2015, and I, Daniel Blake, 2016. Newspapers, again like Section 8, will involve analysing the industry context of the Daily Mirror and the Times, but not the text themselves. That is Section A. Radio, Late Night Woman's Hour, the 28th of October 2016 episode. Video games, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. Questions 3A to C and 4 will deal with the media industries. You will have to discuss the media industry in terms of a business. This will involve us studying aspects of broadcasting and print. We will also be looking at the 3 key stages of the media industry: production, distribution, and circulation of media texts. You have to discuss the evolution of technology within the media. They may tell you which to discuss, but if not, just stick to the one of the industries studied in class. In question 3D, you will be awarded for drawing together knowledge and understanding from across your full course of study, including different areas of the theoretical framework and media context. Question 3D looks at essentially media ownership. Remember, the focus on Section B is not on the texts themselves, so it would be wrong, for example, to write a direct textual analysis of any of the texts, such as writing about the storyline of Straight Outta Compton or issues of editing or whatever. You are studying around the film, what happened in the media industry that resulted in it getting made in the first place, and how it was received by film critics and the public. This is called the context. The context of a media text allows us deeper understanding of how the media reflects the attitudes of society at any given time. I will make videos based on the dummy exam papers provided by the exam board so I can make all these areas clearer to you. However, don't just assume the exam papers you yourself will do will be exactly the same as this. Because this is a new course, it is not easy for any teacher to know at this point if the exam papers will follow set patterns in terms of themes and content of the questions they will ask of you. So now we've outlined what is required of you for both the coursework and exam paper 1 of the course, it is now time for us to outline the requirements for exam paper 2. This exam is called Media Forms and Products in Depth. You will need to answer one question from each of the 3 sections of this exam. Exam 2, Section A. Television in the Global Age. Television today is a global industry. The international popularity of genres like Nordic noir, the global reach of broadcasters like HBO, and the growing number of international co-productions reflect the increasingly fluid national identities being represented in the media. Through an in-depth study of 2 contrasting programs produced in different social and cultural contexts, you will explore the dynamics that shape the current state of television production, distribution, and circulation. The role of public service broadcasting in a global marketplace will be considered, as learners will explore the significance of the economic and industry contexts in which the set products are produced, the way in which the television industry is regulated, and the marketing strategies used to promote the media text we'll be studying will also be investigated. You will also have opportunities to explore how the television audience is defined, constructed, and targeted on both a national and a global scale. In addition, the particular appeal of the programs for audiences will be investigated, and issues such as fandom and the way in which audiences use media text will also be considered. Whilst there is a specific focus on contemporary television programs here, we will also examine the way in which these products relate to broader cultural and historical contexts, analysing their use of media language and the cultural and ideological significance of the representations they offer. For example, we will be able to consider the way in which The Bridge uses the conventions of early crime drama traditions such as film noir, whilst exploring contemporary social, cultural and political issues. Genre is therefore a particular focal point here because we will also need to consider the extent to which the set text supports genre theorist Steve Neal's famous film theory, a theory that genres are best understood as processes which may be, quote, dominated by repetition, but also, quote, marked fundamentally by variation, difference and change. What does this mean? Well, we'll discuss that and much more later. The 2 texts we will be studying for this section of Exam 2 are Life on Mars, which is a UK production, Series 1, Episode 1, 2006, which was originally broadcasted on BBC One. And we will also be studying The Bridge, which is a Denmark-Sweden co-production, Season 3, Episode 1, 2015. Original broadcasters SVT1 in Sweden, DR1 in Denmark, and the UK broadcaster was BBC4. Exam 2, Section B. Magazines. Mainstream and alternative media. The magazine industry in the UK is a highly challenging media environment with thousands of titles competing for readers and market space. Here we will study 2 magazines in depth, developing an understanding of the contextual factors that shape their production, distribution, circulation and consumption, as well as considering the historical, social and cultural significance of the representations they offer. Learners will also explore how media language incorporates viewpoints and ideologies. Each option includes 2 magazines that have been produced within different historical and industry contexts and that target different audiences. One of the magazines will be contemporary, whilst the other will have been produced before 1970. One will be a commercial magazine with mainstream appeal, whilst the other will have been produced outside the commercial mainstream. The magazines in each option therefore offer rich opportunities for comparative analysis. The magazines we will be studying are Vogue, the July 1965 issue, published by Condé Nast, and The Big Issue, the October 17th through to the 23rd 2016 issue, number 1227, published by Dennis and the Big Issue Limited. We will be studying specific extracts from each of these magazines, and these will be provided to you when we begin studying for this section, if not before. Exam 2, Section C. Media in the online age. In a world increasingly dominated by digital technology, online, social and participatory media have become an integral part of the contemporary media landscape. The growing cultural significance of online platforms is evident in the number of subscribers that bloggers and YouTubers like Zoella and Alfie Deyes, Pointless Blog, attract, and in the amount of web traffic that the websites of online newspapers and magazines generate. Through an in-depth study of 2 contrasting online products, we will look at the role played by blogs and websites in the media today, exploring the way in which these convergent media platforms increasingly overlap, as well as investigating the potential that they offer for self-representation. The changing relationship between media producers and audiences will be considered here, as we will examine the idea that media consumers have now become producers who regularly and actively participate in the creation and dissemination of media content online. The impact of digitally convergent media platforms on media production, distribution and circulation will also be explored, as we will study an online newspaper or an online magazine produced for a minority group, considering the way in which digital platforms can be used to reach specialized audiences. These set texts can be seen to demonstrate significant emerging developments in the media, reflecting the ongoing impact of technology on media language and audience interaction. The media texts we will be looking at are Pointless Blog and DesiMag. Websites and blogs are, by their very nature, dynamic and updated to respond to industry and audience needs. Learners are required to study the following elements of their chosen websites and blogs: the design of the homepage, including its use of images and topical material, links to other content, including audio-visual material such as the relevant YouTube channel, vlog, etc., and finally interactive links, including to social and participatory media, for instance Facebook or Snapchat or whatever. So this brings us to the end of this first video. Now you know the course structure, what you need to do for each component, i.e. unit, and what media text we will be studying.